that wrote about earlier in the show, the John Rollins makeup. For Scott Walker, who looks great right now, I'm Vince Cellini. We'll see you next time.
Welcome to the Golf Channel Academy. I'm Tina Mickelson, and I'm so excited to be able to share with you today some of my favorite drills and golf tips. In all my experience with my many students, what I have found to be most effective in getting them to instill some of these swing thoughts I'm trying to incorporate into their swing are drills and quick little golf tips that can get their body to do exactly what their mind is telling them to do. We've heard so much about tempo and rhythm, especially with that first initial move away from the ball. Now, in theory, we understand the importance of it, and we understand that it should be relatively slow and smooth, but how do we get our body to do that? A lot of my students have this first initial move as very quick and kind of almost a jerking motion away from the ball. To smooth that out and give you a feel for what it's like, you want to set up to a ball and put another ball directly behind the club head. Go ahead and make that first initial move stopping at waist height. The ball should only move back a few feet. If the ball catapults back more than a few feet or catches air, you know that move, that first initial move, is way too fast. Now, you do that a few times and you're not necessarily thinking so strictly on this first initial move. You're thinking more about how far back the ball goes. So you're simplifying your thoughts while you're incorporating the proper feel into that first initial takeaway. Okay, we've talked about tempo. Let's talk about balance. I see a lot of people incorporating a lot of movement into their golf swings, and balance is not necessarily top on their priority list. What I'd like you to do as a drill, put 2 feet together and make some nice, slow, full swings. You'll see that you need balance here, and this is going to slow down your swing a little bit, and you're going to get a feel for what the proper tempo should be. If you try to swing too fast or jerk it back, you're not going to be able to keep your feet together. It's really going to instill this nice, smooth tempo and giving you a feel for what it's like to also stay over the ball. Okay, that leads me to another tip, and that is excessive lower body movement in the golf swing. I see a lot of swaying back and forth. Now, we've all probably heard that you don't want to sway laterally in the golf swing. You want to turn about the ball. You want to stay over the ball. Okay, again, we understand that. How do we get our body to do it? Take your regular stance. Feet should be just outside your shoulder width. And go ahead and take, again, some nice, smooth, slow swings, but your feet do not come off the ground at all. I am not able to sway back and forth at all. If I try to sway to the right, part of my feet do come up off the ground. So what this does is, again, keeps me right over the ball. It's incorporating a very nice, smooth tempo, but I don't have to think too much technically about what I'm doing. So again, I'm ingraining a good feel that I can duplicate once I get out onto the golf course without having to think too much about it. I think this will really incorporate everything that you're trying to accomplish in terms of lateral movement, too much movement, and balance without having to think too much.
Thinking about mutual funds? Think about this. the best place to buy one may not be a mutual fund company at all. Instead of emphasizing their funds, TD Ameritrade has tools that can help you choose funds from the leading fund companies. There's even a recommended list by the independent experts at Morningstar Associates, so you can get a fund that matches your objectives instead of someone else's.
Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Contact TD Ameritrade for a prospectus containing this and other information. Read it carefully before investing.
Every year, thousands of Americans will fall in their homes. Every year, thousands of house fires will start while its occupants are away. Now, protect yourself and your home with Alert USA. For just pennies a day, Alert USA will provide you with an advanced personal alarm system that, with the push of a button on a pendant, will connect you to our emergency response center. And if you act now, Alert USA will also send you a high-quality smoke detector that connects to our monitoring station. So now, with Alert USA, you're protected when you're home, and your home is protected when you're not home. And this protection covers you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For information, call for your free Alert USA brochure now. For a limited time, get Alert USA protection for just 50 cents a day. Call 1-800-838-0660. That's 1-800-838-0660.
Own a timeshare? Turn it into cash.
No more mortgage payments.
Thank you, Timeshares Only.
At Timeshares Only, you'll find properties from the biggest names in the industry. If you want to buy, sell, or rent, call now. Call Timeshares Only and get your free information kit with our insider secrets to buying, selling, and renting timeshares, plus receive a free $100 gift card.
Over $5 billion sold in the past 6 months proves now can be the best time to sell.
Call 800-218-1453. That's 800-218-1453. Call 800-218-1453 now.
All new on Golf Channel. From celebrity swings to your swing, Breed's got a quick fix for what's wrong with your game.
You want to learn this game? Stick around.
The Golf Fix. Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Golf Channel. Golf Channel Thursday. Michelle Wie makes her LPGA Tour rookie season debut. But this is the first full field event on tour. And these ladies are ready to get it started. Who can handle the pressure and make it to the winner's circle? It's game on. The SBS Open at Turtle Bay. Coverage begins Thursday at 6:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. Eastern on Golf Channel.
We've talked a lot about how important it is not to have excessive movement in the golf swing, but I'm not suggesting there can't be any movement at all. If you're over the ball, we've all heard, keep your head directly over the ball. But if I inhibit myself by doing this, it can lead to a reverse pivot. As long as you are turning and shifting your weight to the inside of that right leg, you're fine. If your head moves a little bit in a natural way, that's okay. A little bit of lateral head movement is very different than lateral lower body movement. And if you watch many of the tour players, you'll see their head move just slightly to the right, but that's okay because they're not sliding to the right. So again, if you know that you're shifting your lower body, your weight properly, don't inhibit yourself by trying too hard to keep your head right over the ball. That's a very important concept that I want to make sure I relay to you. Now, having said that, we've all heard, keep your eye on the ball. And I've had many students tell me, I pick out a certain dimple right there on the ball and I concentrate on that. When you do that, you're a little too focused, a little too in tune with that one dimple on the ball. A result can be a little tensing up. You're not as loose, you're not as comfortable standing over the ball if you're so zeroed in on one dimple or one spot on the ball. Have a gentle gaze on the whole ball. Keep it in your line of sight, but don't be too focused on any one area of the ball. I do want to suggest looking at the back part of the ball with your left eye. What that does is it ensures that you stay behind the ball just a little bit so that at impact, you're not going to be inclined as much to slide forward through it. It's going to keep you in a good, solid position at impact. So again, as you set up over the ball, have a general gaze with your left eye at the back of the ball. And as you take that club back, if your head moves slightly, that's okay, as long as you know your lower body is shifting the weight properly instead of sliding laterally. Now we talk a little bit about the lower body. I want to also talk about how important it is to keep the right knee flexed throughout the golf swing. If I take this club back and I straighten this right knee, again, I'm promoting a reverse pivot. If I think about keeping this right knee flexed and this left knee is turning and folding into that right knee, I have a very good lower body shifting of weight, and I don't have to think too technically about anything else. If that left knee again is folding into the right and the right knee stays flexed, you're going to be less inclined to develop that reverse pivot, and you're going to be less inclined to shift laterally to the right. Let's move on to the shoulders at address. One very, very simple thought is this left shoulder. We talk about how important it is to have everything parallel: feet, knees, hips, shoulders. And I've had many students think that they were set up properly to the ball, everything being parallel, but this left shoulder is just a little bit open. So at address, if I'm standing behind them, I cannot see their left shoulder. And a very common tendency is for the ball to go right, and they can't understand it. They're trying to fix something in their golf swing. Whereas all we do is we bring this left shoulder forward just a little bit, and now they're set up for a nice full shoulder turn. If this left shoulder is open just a little bit, it's going to be harder to get a proper shoulder turn. Now these are all very simplified tips, and we've got, a drill here, a tip here. Just like there's no two identical golf swings out there, not all of these tips are going to be perfect for each player. So what I want you to do is kind of take a few of them, try them out, test them for your golf swing and see how they work. But don't think that every tip is going to work perfectly for you. So you have a tip here, a tip there. All these little swing thoughts and drills add up to one big, good golf swing.
If you're diabetic like I am, you know how important it is to test your blood every day. That's why I chose U.S. Medical Supply for my diabetic testing supply needs.
They sent me this life-saving new meter for free. It's much more accurate and easier to use than my old one, takes a much smaller amount of blood, and gives results in just 5 seconds. It even lets me test on my arm, so I don't have to prick my fingers anymore.
Now, U.S. Medical Supply delivers my testing supplies to my door, free of charge, so I don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy. What's more, I pay no upfront fees, and Medicare even covers the cost.
So if you have diabetes, don't take any chances with your health. Call this toll-free number to see if you qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies and a free meter from U.S. Medical Supply. And use the time that you save to enjoy the things that you love most.
Hey, enjoy your round today.
Okay, I will.
What keeps your love of the game alive? For some, it's the challenge. For others, it's a love of the outdoors. But for those who truly love the game of golf, the condition of the course makes all the difference.
So how was it?
It was great, Dad. Thanks to you.
Nobody guarantees your ultimate enjoyment of the game like the superintendents of the GCSAA. Golf's unseen heroes.
I've always...
The price of gold has changed. Now you can get extra cash. Recycle old gold scraps, gathering dust. Call the number on your screen for quick cash. The Gold Kit is absolutely free. Send old rings, charms, dental scrap, and more.
I got $600 for my scrap gold.
It's easy. Call the toll-free number now. We'll mail you the kit and payment information with a check to follow promptly. Gold Kit and postage are free. Your satisfaction guaranteed. Call the number on your screen now or visit goldkit.com.
If it's not connected to an HD receiver from Comcast, your spiffy new HD TV isn't. It's not HD TV without an HD receiver. Get one from Comcast to start watching HD channels like these, plus HD on demand. Let's review. Ordinary TV or real HD TV from Comcast.
Vijay Singh makes his return alongside a star-studded field at the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am next Thursday on Golf Channel.
One of the most common mistakes in approach shots with amateurs is leaving it short. That's because they gauge their distance with each club according to how far they hit that club if they hit it perfectly. Well, you're not going to hit it pure every time, so take that into account when you're making your club selection. Another thing you should take into account is there any trouble around the green? Let's say if you hit an 8-iron perfectly, you will get the ball to the center of the green, but there's a little water in front of the green. What I would do is go ahead and take the 7-iron, choke down on it, grip down on the longer club a little bit, and take a nice full swing. By gripping down on the club, it takes off a little bit of the yardage, so you don't have to lay up on the longer club or really jump on the shorter club just to make sure that you get it over the water and reach the green. You can still take your natural, normal swing with the longer club. You just grip down on it a tiny bit. If there's trouble behind the green, conversely, you're going to take the shorter club because you don't want to miss it long. Again, when you're choosing your clubs, think about any type of trouble that might be around the green and what you need to do in order to stay away from the trouble, incorporating any miss that you might have with the club. Now, speaking of misses, a very common miss, unfortunately, many players have is, and I'm going to say it, shanking the ball. I don't want to jinx myself by saying the word, but I've got to here. What a lot of people do that promotes shanking the ball, it's all in their setup. They set up a little too close to the ball with the hips rolled under, and many times the ball is at the heel of the club face, not right in the middle. And as you can see, I'm very closed up here. I'm very inhibited, and that's going to really decrease the amount of shoulder turn I'm going to get in my swing. And when I come back to the ball, I'm going to be hitting it right off the hosel, and that's what causes a shank. So what I'm going to suggest to you, if you're having this problem, there's more than just this issue that could be resulting in a shanked shot. But what I want you to do first is step away from the ball just about an inch or an inch and a half. Step away from the ball and turn your hips out so that when you set up, you see the top of your feet and you see your toes. So now, right here, I have more room. I'm freed up to get a nice full turn. I'm also paying close attention to where on that club face the ball is. Many times it's as simple as someone setting just too close to the ball. Your setup is just too close. Even if they have a nice posture, they're just too close and again, kind of crowded. So step away from the ball. If your natural setup is too crowded, it's going to really feel like you're reaching for it, but you're not. So once you have a nice, tall, straight back, it's going to feel like you're sitting back into a chair. You have the weight distributed evenly right in the middle of your feet. And again, you can see your toes. They're not hidden by your knees because you've rotated your hips out. Now you're in a very nice athletic position to start with that good shoulder turn, coming back to the ball and hitting the ball square in the middle of the club face. This leads me to another issue that a lot of my students might have, toeing and heeling the ball. They'll come to me and say, you know, I can't stop hitting the ball off the toe of the club. I can't figure out why. And I look at their setup and it looks like this. This already is putting them in a very difficult position to acquire good solid contact because you're not even starting in a good position. Whereas they're trying to change anything they can in their swing to get solid contact. All they need to do is position the ball correctly in the middle of the club face. And obviously, same thing goes for if you're hitting it off the heel of the club. I see a lot of people really crowding the ball, getting it way inside there because for some reason in their head they don't want to hit it to the right. They think that if the ball gets out towards the toe of the club, they're either going to miss the ball or they're going to hit it to the right. So they keep inching up, inching up, inching up, and all of a sudden you find the ball way buried in the heel of the club face. So again, as important as we've stressed address position is, this is another example. That ball needs to be right in the middle of the club face. Give yourself a very good head start before you even take the club back, making sure that everything is in the correct position. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot before you even start the club, before you even start taking the club back. Do yourself a favor, make sure you're set up correctly.
In a changing world, who do you want by your side? A financial advisor who knows you. An advisor who understands you. An advisor who has weathered the changing world right beside you. The world changes. Our commitment to you doesn't. That's the financial relationship we call you and us, UBS.
How many courses did you call before you found one that wasn't too far, wasn't too expensive, had a driving range, and could squeeze you in between 10 and 11? Maybe you should have just gone to golfnow.com and got it all in one shot. Get tee times at thousands of courses nationwide, online 24 hours a day. Book tee times at great Southern California courses like Steel Canyon.
With Capital One Card Lab's new Triple Rewards, me and the lads are having a tough time deciding which category to choose. Like Triple Rewards on electronics. Or gas and groceries.
10 items, Bob.
Maybe Triple Rewards on restaurants and entertainment. Or travel.
Introducing Triple Rewards of your choice. Log on to Card Lab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
What's in your wallet?
I'm Lauren Thompson, and this is the new Top 10.
It is on like Donkey Kong now.
Every Tuesday night, Golf Channel scours the planet to bring you the most amazing.
He's got one tree to go under, one tree to go over.
The funniest. Most embarrassing.
Is this real?
No.
Are we actually seeing this?
And most unbelievable moments in golf.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
Top 10, every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern, only on Golf Channel.
All the natural beauty of the game in stunning high definition. Golf Channel HD. Can you feel it?
There are many reasons why a player might be hitting the ball to the right. We know obviously that the club face is open at impact, but there are many different reasons as to why the club face is open at impact. One of the most common reasons is the arms, especially the forearms, are very tense and tight. When they're very tense and tight, that really inhibits the club face from getting back to square and that releasing motion that you need in order to get the club face to square at impact. So besides really relaxing the arms and allowing the club to get back to square, we might need to exaggerate that feel just a little bit, especially for those who are so used to holding on so tight to the club. What I want you to do is try to hit a few balls, and again, this is a drill. Don't do this out on the golf course. This is a drill. Try to hit a few balls with the toe of the club. What that's going to do is force you to get that release, relax the forearms. If they're not relaxed, you're not going to be able to get the toe of the club facing the ball as easily. Now, for those of you who are really used to holding on to the club, this is going to feel very foreign to you, and it is literally going to feel like you're hitting the ball with the toe of the club. For most of you, though, you're not actually going to be doing that. You're actually going to be hitting the ball fairly squarely, but it's going to feel like an exaggerated move because you're so used to that club face being open at impact. So again, this might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but for those of you who need to be forced to get a good idea of what this should feel like, this is going to be very helpful for you. Every once in a while, we find ourselves in a situation where we hope to get maybe a little more or a little less loft on the ball than what we might normally expect from our chosen club. Now, I'm not talking extreme situations where you need to get the ball up quick or keep the ball low underneath limbs or branches of trees. I'm talking when you want just a little bit more loft than you might expect from your chosen club. I'm not saying go get another club to incorporate your desired loft. There's one thing you can do at setup to encourage a little more or a little less loft. Let's say you want the ball to go up a little bit higher than you might normally expect. Take your regular address position and turn and look up in the sky at the point where you want the ball to go. Now, don't change anything. Turn your head. That's all I want you to do, is turn your head back. Now you'll see two very distinct things happened when I did that. When I turned my head and looked up in the sky, my right shoulder lowered just a little bit, and a little bit of my weight transferred back onto my back foot. Not a lot. I'm not out of position at address. I've just altered it a little bit. This change is going to add a little bit of loft to the ball if I put a good swing on it. Now, conversely to that, if you want the ball to stay low, take your regular address position and turn and keep your head very low, no higher. Don't look any higher than where you want the ball to go. Turn your head back. What this is going to do is really ensure that those shoulders are very level to the ground. It's going to promote more of a sweeping motion at impact. That's going to keep the ball lower to the ground than you might normally find with the amount of loft that you have on your chosen club. So before you alter too many things or choose a different club or try to alter your swing, try these little changes at address. See how that works for you. That might be all you need. There's so much emphasis placed on distance off the tee, we forget how important it is to hit the fairway. If you want to hit more greens throughout your round of golf, it makes sense that it's going to be a lot easier to hit the green if your approach shot is from the fairway. The late Payne Stewart used to incorporate a drill into his warm-up session that a lot of players still use today. What I want you to do is, as you finish your warm-up session on the practice tee, I want you to hit anywhere between 4 and 12 drivers with your sole purpose is to hit it no further than 150 yards. So you're just going to set up, and this is going to incorporate that nice, consistent tempo. No further than 150 yards. So the emphasis is taken off swing speed and added to consistency. Nice, easy swing again, 150 yards. And then you're going to take this to the first tee. You're going to try to remember what it felt like to only hit the ball 150 yards. Now, your natural adrenaline is going to take care of everything else. You're not going to literally be hitting it 150 yards off the tee. But what you will find is with that added tempo, that better tempo, you're going to be pleasantly surprised with your increase in consistency. Now, we've talked about quite a few drills and golf tips today. Not all of them are going to apply to one person. Just like no two golf swings are identical, not every one of these drills or golf tips are going to apply to each individual. So I want you to go through and pick some of them that apply more specifically to you, utilize them, see how they work for you, and before you actually go out and try for a complete swing overhaul, you might find that a few of these fundamentals might be all you needed. I'm Tina Mickelson, and I want to thank you for joining me on the Golf Channel Academy.